So look, if you're struggling in life, I want you to take a moment before you click off this video, and I want you to hang in there with me because, you know, suffering in silence sucks. And trust me, I was in your shoes. And it was just another guy on another video telling me how life is great and you just need to suck it up, all the while suffering. And when I say suffering, literally suffering in silence. So this morning, I was out with an organization called United We Rescue. And they had sponsored me for a treatment that I just went through. And so I went out and I gave a talk at one of their breakfasts. And in that talk, I opened up about my life, all the stuff that people like to hide, because forever I hid everything I was ashamed of, embarrassed of. I wanted to keep my ego in this, this Marine Corps veteran mentality of tougher than life, very stoic. And I did that for years and years, all the while just stuffing things deeper and deeper on the edge of just losing my ever-loving mind. And so I want to take a moment and talk to those that are out there struggling, because trust me, there is so much more to me than some dude that comes on and talks about how to increase your VA disability claim. So I spent 7 years, 3 months, and 22 days as a United States Marine. Out of that time, I served from 95 to '02. I am not a combat veteran, but I did spend a year in Bahrain on Security Force Company from 98 to 99. In that time of service, I beat down my body like any good Marine does and never went to medical. So as a result, when I tell you that I live with pain from head to toe, it is literally from head to toe. From migraines to tinnitus in both ears, shattering my cheekbone and chip a piece out of my eye socket. I got 28 stitches in my ear just to hold it together. I got 4 bulging discs in my neck. I got 2 in the middle of my back. I've got a herniated disc in my L5-S1. I haven't felt my full right foot since 2008. I got pain radiating down both arms and down both legs. And to mix into there, anxiety, depression, and hypervigilance issues. Because when I got out of the Marine Corps, I spent the next 16 years working for the Department of Defense, whether it was a contractor or civil service, primarily in the anti-terrorism community, protecting people from the evil that exists. And when you do that long enough, you watch violence long enough, you see what a young Marine that pops on a piss test decides to eat the end of an M16, what that looks like when they're holding his head together, what it looks like, volunteering and you show up on a fire scene and there's a guy was succumbed by the smoke and literally burnt to death and you're just looking at his naked body. Like eventually those stuff, they continue to catch up. So what I did really good at was masking this to keep this Marine mentality was I became an alcoholic. I became an alcoholic probably in the late 90s because I first admitted my alcoholism to my parents in, I think it was like 2000 or so. And I went to an AA meeting and then AA meetings aren't for me. They're great for some people. They weren't for me because of course I walk in and I go, man, my life's not that bad. I can wait till 4 o'clock to go get drunk and show up at PT at 6 still in the bag and go out and PT with the best of them. But that's how I hid things. I suppressed the depression, the anger, the irritation by alcohol. And I was a functioning alcoholic. 2010, I got my first DUI charge. 2015, when I was like 3 or 4 months still on probation for my first one. I was almost off. I got pulled over. Blew an '09, which if you're on probation, you can't blow anything more than an '01. And instead of doing what a lot of people do and admitting, I knew I had a problem, but instead of admitting the problem and saying, hey, I should go seek therapy, I doubled down. Like I would get home. It was not uncommon for me to get home from work and have 3 beers down. And I'm talking like Stone's Arrogant Bastard before I even took my shoes off. and I would drink it, and I was a professional drinker. I never drank to get drunk. That was childish games. Like, I was a professional drinker. I just drank, and I knew eventually I was going to get drunk, but the goal was to never get drunk. And so eventually, around 2016, I decided that I was going to address my depression and anxiety, all the stuff that I had shoved down. And so I sought a therapist, one that a friend of mine went to. So I knew it was good because I didn't want a therapist shop. I wanted to try to go to somebody that I knew. And I can tell you, my first 2 sessions, I just sat there and freaking cried. I wept. I wept like a little bitch. No offense. But it was all this stuff I didn't know that I had shoved so far down that just came out. And on the third session, the work began, the work to heal, the work to get, in control of my depression and my anxiety, my hypervigilance, to be able to try to calm down. Because when you have pain and you have a mental health condition like depression or anxiety, the higher your pain level goes, the higher the depression goes. The higher the depression goes, the higher the pain goes. So it's a vicious cycle when those two work together. And I remember my therapist telling me, well, if you can get one to go down, the other one will come down. And I just kind of laughed and I go, yeah, I've only been trying since 99 to get my pain levels down. I mean, I've had 23 sets of neck injections, 3 in my back. I've been on all kinds of pain pills, pain patches, pain creams and sprays, all just trying to get the pain to come down and stay down. But it was important because I didn't stop drinking right away. I went through therapy first to work on myself. I knew there was issues that I had to address. I had been through divorces. I had basically burnt every bridge around me. I had burnt relationships. And when you quit drinking, of course, everybody goes, well, you don't have a problem. Like, dude, if you only knew the half, because that is what we're real good at as veterans, is hiding the things that hurt, so that we can have this persona that life is great and I'm in no pain, I feel good, I'll just suck it up. And all the while, the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock to 12 o'clock at night, when we're half in the bag or in the bag, or we're mixing. I mean, I was mixing Vicodin. I was taking like 2 Vicodin, drinking like 12 to 16 beers, until I realized, somebody told me, hey man, you can die in your sleep. You can literally just quit breathing. I did what every good alcoholic did. I just quit taking pain pills. So from like 2006 until last week, when the pain I have right now is so bad in my neck that I finally sent a message to my doctor and said, give me the lowest, pain pill that you have that doesn't cause, or at least likely to cause, addiction. I mean, that's a lot of suffering. That's a lot of treatments. I've been in therapy for 10 years. I've been in chiropractor for almost 8 years straight, between chiropractor and massage therapy. So I can tell you that if you're watching this and you're struggling, there is hope, right? The hope is, one, you've got to get into therapy. And I can't tell you how many veterans I've talked to that will say, well, if they're not a veteran, if they're not a combat veteran, they don't know shit. Now, that may be true. Maybe they're not, like competent when it comes to that. But a lot of those are skilled. And you may go to one that's culturally competent, that may be a veteran, that may be a combat veteran, that may be a really shitty therapist that gets nowhere out of you. And you may go to one that never served, like the one I went to, that never served. But she understood depression. She understood the world that I was living in. And the work was on me. The easy part is just to go talk for an hour. The hard part is 6 days of doing the work in between to be able to get better. So I can tell you that, one, if you've got to go see a combat veteran, then you go find a combat veteran therapist. But you have to start taking care of your mental health. Next is, if you're an alcoholic, that's okay. My dude, you've got to, one, admit it. And I know damn well you've admitted it to your head. Everyone else, you say, I don't have a problem. And this is where I know it's because you make a joke about it. I make jokes about it all the time. I don't have a problem. I'm completely in control of how much I can drink. The only problem I have is if I spill a drink, right? That was all a facade to try to hide the shame and embarrassment that I had as an alcoholic. But when I quit drinking, I can tell you when I hit 3 months, that was the first time. So that was like 2016. No, 2017 is when I quit drinking. When I hit 3 months, that was the longest I had been since 1995 when I went to boot camp. Now imagine that's, I don't even know, 23 years of not going 3 months without drinking. And then when I hit 6 months, 8 months, it took me like 2 years before it was the first time that had been sober that long. And I've managed to make it 9.5 years. I'll hit 10 years in June this year. I did that, one, because I fired all my drinking friends, because those that supported me, right, aren't the ones that said, well, you can do just one. You can't. If you're an alcoholic, let's just be honest, you can't have one. This is why when you quit drinking, you cannot go back to have one, because one will turn to 10 within a month. That's just how addiction works. If you've ever tried to quit smoking, that one cigarette that you had, I would bet for 95% of you, you started smoking again. For the 5% of you, you did okay and never picked up another cigarette minus that one. Alcoholics, substance abusers can't just drink on the weekends, because it will slowly go, I had a bad Tuesday, I'm going to have a drink. Oh, Wednesday was shitty, I'm going to have a couple beers. So one, drop your drinking friends, because if they're truly friends of yours, they will support you when you quit drinking. And you have to address the issues on why you drank. What is driving you to drink? Because there is something. Me, it was the love of beer, because I love the taste of beer. And when it got into the winter, I was a Crown guy. I would drink 3/4 to a bottle of Crown a night, 7 nights a week. But I knew what I was hiding. I was hiding the mental health concerns, my depression, my anxiety, the pain. I was trying to mask it all. And I did a good job. Alcohol does a great job at shoving that down until you're sober and it comes back. Because tomorrow, you still got the same issues. One of the hardest parts I've found when I quit drinking, besides the cravings, was having to face things head on that I could have just drank away. But I can tell you, I am so glad that I was able to face those head on, sober, because I didn't delay the process. I didn't push it till tomorrow and then the next day and then the next day. And guess what? A month later, that issue is still there, but now it's just nested in the back of your head, and all those other problems are stacking. So look, I can tell you 100% from a guy that got sober from 20 years as an alcoholic, and I'm not talking, like, oh, I drink 5 or 6 days a week. No, I'm talking like Monday to Thursday, it was a 12-pack a night. When I started drinking IPAs, I might go 8 or 9 or 10 on a night, on a school night. On the weekends, forget about it. I was pushing 16 to 18 beers a night. And you're talking high content alcohol. And I was fully functional. My life revolved around, I got a party to go to. I got a birthday party got to go to. My kid's birthday party. Okay, I'll have 4 or 5 before so I can go talk to people. And then as soon as it's done, or if I don't have some in the car, or I'm not drinking at the party, as soon as I got home, I finish the rest off. So I know what you're going through. I absolutely know the struggles. But a lot of us we want to hide it, because it's hard to deal with things. But look, man, I can tell you, please, you only get one run at this life. Don't get another 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years and then wish you'd went back, saw this video and said, man, I wish I would have done it in 2026. Today is the only day that you are promised. So take action. You don't have to make a big deal of it. I didn't. I just stopped. Instead of taking a right to go to Bravery Brewery in Lancaster, California, which one of the owners was Arlie Ermy, the drill instructor from Full Metal Jacket, I used to do 2 for Tuesdays. I would go to an hour of therapy, and I would go a quarter mile down the road, take a right, take an immediate right, go back in the industrial complex, and drink 2 or 3 or 4 beers. And then I would go home. One day, on a Tuesday in June, instead of taking a right, I took a left. I went to the grocery store, and I picked up a 6-pack of non-alcoholic beer, which at the time in 2017, your choices were like O'Doul's and some German stuff. Neither one of them were good, but I knew I needed it. And I drank this dry, bitter German non-alcoholic beer. Every day I would drink a 6-pack for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months until I eventually got to the point I was like, you know what? I don't even need this anymore. Now it's great because like every major brewery has them. So I have a 6-pack of Sierra Nevada right now, or actually a 12-pack. It's down to about 6. And I probably had it in there for like 5 or 6 months. I only need it when the cravings are there. And a lot of people will tell you, various programs, hey, like don't do NA beer, like it's too close to the real thing. Look, if I wanted the real thing, I'm a grown damn man. I will go buy some. I use it because I'm tired of suffering in life and suffering through cravings, that when I go out and do yard work, or I'm a huge Notre Dame football guy, when Notre Dame football comes on and I want to have a beer, then by God, I'm going to go have a beer. When it's cold out and I feel like having a whiskey, I have non-alcoholic whiskey that you can buy in the store. So I'll go get me a Ritual whiskey alternative and I'll mix it with a Coke. And I'll have 1, maybe 2, and then my body's like, hey, we're good. So find an alternative. When I first stopped, I drank a metric shit ton of tea. And I would make an Arnold Palmer. I'd mix tea and lemonade, something to give me a little bit of bite. And I probably drank more water than I ever had in my life. And I definitely ate more ice cream than I'd had in my entire life when I was replacing one sugar with another. But just know, like you can do it. You don't need to sit around and say, poor me, I'm the only one going through this. No one will understand. Bullshit, brother, sister, we understand. Because there are hundreds of thousands of us out there. This is why you look at the sustained suicide rate in the veteran community over years. Not like we're seeing, 22 veterans, die by suicide a day for the last year. We're talking years. So it's time we start taking care of ourselves, because when you can take care of yourself, then you can take care of others. But you can't truly take care of others when you're not where you need to be mentally, physically, and emotionally. So I would encourage you, please, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself first. And if you're struggling, if you're not working, right, whether you're retired or you're at a VA, you're at 100%, so you retired yourself, you didn't want to go back to work, or maybe you're in between jobs, or you just quit a job and you're living on unemployment. Look, here's the one thing I can tell you that will help your mental health better than anything you can do: volunteer. Because we're built, whether you know it or not. I never knew it. I didn't join the Marine Corps because I had a love for my country. I didn't. I'm from Indiana. Like, all I wanted to do was play basketball and chase girls and smoke weed. That's what I did in high school. But when you go in and you serve and you get out, there's a piece of you that is missing, and that is serving your community. We served our country. Now it's time to go out and serve your community. Find something you like, whether that is going to an animal shelter and just helping take dogs on walks. Maybe it's helping the elderly, going to church and helping with handout, or any kind of, program they have to feed the less fortunate. Go to your food bank. Go to your local fire department, your fire district. You don't have to be a firefighter. Out here, we have volunteer guys that do, like, tender operators, drive a water tender. So there are plenty of choices and chances and things that you can do. Join your local service organization. if you have a VFW, if you have an American Legion, if you have a disabled American veterans, and AMVETS, like go down there and just get involved and help people, help your community, find a nonprofit. There are tons of nonprofits in your community that are out doing good that always need help. Find one that you like and that serves your self mission, and then go spend some time doing it. That right there will drop enough endorphins and serotonin and dopamine that will truly make you feel good. So get out of your house, right? And not to go to a bar. Go do something that brings you joy that helps others. But you have to take care of yourself. Do not be like me, which shoved everything down. And it's crazy because as soon as I came out in like 2015, 2014, and said, okay, hey, I have depression, you know, because I went to the VA and I saw a therapist and they basically threw me on bupropion or Wellbutrin. And I went back like, I don't know, like quarterly, and it was, are you going to kill yourself? Are you going to kill others? You're homicidal, suicidal? No. Okay. Do you need more medication? There was no therapy part to that. But as soon as I came out, it was funny. One of my old first sergeants, which I consider like my second dad, came out and he goes, oh yeah, I've been in therapy for like, you know, however many years. Like, this is the hardest dude I know on the planet. And I was like, holy shit, maybe I'm not alone. Maybe there's not something wrong with me. There is something wrong with me. It's called depression and anxiety. Okay, cool. I'm one of like, what, 3 million, 6 million, 10 million people in the world that have it. So I'm not alone, but you feel alone when you have it. You feel like if I tell somebody, it's either going to be real, or if I tell somebody, they're going to look at me like I'm weak. The ones that do that are the ones that themselves that are hiding things. The ones that go online and talk shit and talk like they're a badass are the ones that are struggling the most, and that is their outlet to try to make other people feel bad. I used to get in arguments all the time. And then I realized those people that talk shit, that go on to different, you know, veterans posts and they try to degrade other veterans or talk shit, you know, like they're the toughest dude on earth. Those are the ones that are struggling the most. So do not fall into the pit of having to argue with them or feel less than them because some dude or female veteran is talking shit, because those are the ones that are probably alcoholics. They're probably abusing pills, and they have mental health issues that they don't want to address because it is a persona that they must keep, that you're weak. I am not weak. I don't need mental health. I'm a tough motherfucker until 11 o'clock at night when I'm alone and I'm crying because I don't have anybody to talk to because I've gotten this persona. I was that dude. I was that shit talker. I was that one that demeaned people because they were weak. All because I wanted to deflect away from my own issues. And as soon as I started seeking help, life became better. Right? I quit caring about what other people thought, and I quit caring about what other people do. Why? Because it's their life. If they want to act badass, act badass. I don't care. It's not my life. Somebody will come on here or will drop a comment, and it'll be some smart ass comment, and it will not get a rise out of me. Why? Because I know who I am. I know what I've been through. I know where I've come. I know where I'm going. I am secure in my manhood to be able to say that I am a recovering alcoholic with 9.5 years of days of victories, that I have depression and anxiety, that I have hypervigilance issues, that I go to counseling. And I'm proud to say that I go to therapy because that means that I continue to work on myself. So if it is you and you're watching this, and maybe it's not the right time for you, save this video and watch it later. Watch it at 11 o'clock at night when you're up by yourself. And I want you to reflect on your life, and I want you to reflect on the thought of, does my persona and my ego Is it worth my mental and physical, spiritual, and emotional health? Is it worth me not seeking treatment, not becoming sober because I'm afraid of what people will say about me or think about me, or they'll think that I'm weak? Is that worth your life, for you to suffer in life, for you to continue to suffer from some thought that no one really freaking cares about? Because about a year ago, I started coming up with a saying: if I'm not going to speak at your funeral, I don't care what you have to say. And if you're not going to speak at my funeral, I'll listen to you, but I'm probably not going to weigh your opinions at the very top. And I would expect the same from you. If I'm not going to speak at your funeral, then who am I to tell you that you're weak? That there's something wrong with you? If I'm telling you right now, brother to brother, brother to sister, if you are struggling, the best thing that you can do, you want to be a badass, quit drinking, go to therapy, take care of yourself and your family. You want to act like a badass? Then keep doing those and degrade everyone else and shove it down. Which type of badass do you want to be? A real one or a pretend one? So please save this video so that you can go back. Watch this video, self-reflect on yourself, and ask yourself, what kind of badass do I want to be? And know that I'm here. We may have never met, we may have never talked, we may never talk, but just know that I'm always in your corner. I am in your corner because you are not alone, because I am with you. And when you reach out, if those veterans in your life, those brothers, and they don't even need to be veterans, they could be church members, they could be neighbors, they could be lifelong friends. If they support you, those are the ones in your corner, are in your corner. And those that don't support you, that want to get you to, man, you're just overplaying it, you're good, man, suck it up, those aren't your friends. Oh, come on, dude, let's just go have a beer or two. Those aren't your friends. Because real friends will tell you, don't go to the bar. Real friends will tell you, you still going to therapy? How's your mental health? Those are the ones that you want in your corner. You don't need 1,000 people in your life. You don't need 500 friends on Facebook telling you how great you are. Thank you for your service. You need 5 of them. You need 5 of them in your corner that will dig you out when you're down, that will be there with you when the cravings kick in. Those are the ones you want in your corner. You don't need a bunch. I don't have a bunch. I've got a solid core, a group of friends that I could call at midnight and say, dude, I'm on the verge of just saying, fuck it, I want to go drink. For them to go, no, you don't, dude. For those to call and say, I can't sleep, I've got these issues going through my head, I need to talk. I don't need 300 people that I can call. I only need a handful. So do you. So just know, you are important. You are tough, right? And it is okay to have issues. What is not okay is to have issues and not do anything about them because you're worried. Not worried for yourself. You're worried about what Johnny down the street, what Sergeant so-and-so, that private that you led, what they'll think, what your pastor will think, what whoever will think. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what they think. So I wanted to jump on. I wanted to spend some time. I know this went a little longer, but I didn't have a script. I wanted to have a heart-to-heart conversation out there because I know somebody out there, somebody's, was in the same boat that I was in. I just wish that I would have done it a lot sooner, because my life probably would have been a lot different. But it isn't. And that is part of life. That is where we come from. That is how we get to where we are going. It's through mistakes, but we can't live in the I wish I would have, because I wish I would have done it 15 years before. I wish I would have quit drinking 15 years before I did and started doing therapy, but I didn't. So along those life lessons and those mistakes along the way, I'm here today to tell you I'm alive, I'm sober, and I've never been in a better spot mentally than I have today, March 18th, 2026. So please take care of yourself, do what you have to do, stop drinking, start seeking mental health, and get out in your community and serve. So with that said, just know, I'm always in your corner. I believe in you, and you got this.